Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. I'm worried about Alex Dutton's new friends in 1923 Season 2. While Spencer Dutton's Brandon Sklinner wife finally has some good news in 1923, I'm worried about Alexandra's new friends after her encounter with Paul Augustus Prue and Hillary Janet Montgomery at the train station. In 1923 Season 2, Episode 5, Only Gunshots to Guide Us, Alexandra has another series of harrowing circumstances on a train heading west to Billings. Alex was at Grand Central Terminal in the previous chapter, beaten and robbed in the women's bathroom, barely making it on her connecting train. Alex's perilous journey continues in Episode 5, working in food service to eat after her robbery. The development builds on a series of unfortunate circumstances, with Alexandra of Sussex fleeing London and her life of British nobility to join her husband on his ranch. In 1923 Season 2, danger and disturbances follow Alex and Spencer everywhere they go, as they make the legs of their journey one by one. Spencer's journey is equally dangerous, with Dutton escaping a group of sinister vagabonds on the train, before finally boarding a train to Montana in Episode 5. The destruction that follows the lovers is star-crossed, leaving me to wonder what ill-fated circumstances await them. I'm worried about Alex's new friends because she and her husband leave a path of death and destruction behind. Paul and Hillary could be next in a series of unfortunate events, with the 1923 character's kindness potentially being repaid with tragedy. Alex is supposed to go to the Chicago police after her run-in with an unruly passenger who sexually assaults her on the train. Hopefully, all goes well after the perpetrator is arrested, but if he has connections with the city, Paul and Hillary could end up paying for sticking their necks out for Alex. Similarly to how Luca meets an unfortunate fate as he momentarily joins Spencer's journey, Paul and Hillary could find themselves amid Taylor Sheridan's next 1923 tragedy. If Sheridan decides to pile more tragedy onto Alex's lap, Paul and Hillary are in the crossfire. While it's nice to think that 1923 will finally give us the story we want after Episode 5, it seems more likely, based on the events so far, that Alex's run-in will just lead to another tragedy and another, until she gets to the ranch or dies trying, putting her new friends in danger. Hopefully, Alex's finding Paul and Hillary means that her journey will finally take a turn for the better, rather than the kind British couple being subjected to the same danger Spencer's wife has experienced so far. Perhaps 1923 fans can see a glimmer of hope that Alex will make it to Montana now that she has someone in her corner. Part of the reason that Alex's journey in 1923 Season 2 has been so hard is that she's had to endure it without her life partner, who would have protected her but also provided the emotional support she desperately needs. Alex finally found that support in Paul and Hillary. The couple is taking Alexandra to Winnetka, a northern suburb of Chicago, and we can only hope they have the resources or connections to get Alex to Montana. In 1923 Season 1, Spencer tells Alex that every moment leading up to their shipwreck rescue was a sign from the universe that they weren't meant to be together. Sadly, their ill-fated journey continues in 1923 Season 2, with their serendipitous marriage being their only respite. Currently, I'm desperately hoping Spencer and Alex's story doesn't repeat my least favorite Yellowstone tragedy. I can't shake the feeling that something is off, ever since Alex Dutton and Spencer hit that chaotic fork in the road, tossed apart by fate, distance, and way too many ocean-related disasters. I've been counting every second until their reunion. But now that Alex has re-entered the world of Season 2 in 1923, there's a new concern swirling around like Montana dust in a summer storm, her new friends. Let me be clear, I get it. She was alone, heartbroken, stranded across the Atlantic, and trying to hold herself together with all the force and elegance of a champagne flute at a gunfight. It makes sense that she would seek out company, someone to lean on. Maybe even someone to distract her from the aching void that Spencer left behind. But these new acquaintances, I don't trust them. First of all, they're too polished, too polite, too smiling. And if 1923 has taught us anything, it's that the more refined someone looks in this world, the more likely they are to hide a knife behind their back, or a sinister plot behind their perfectly curled mustache. One of them, Lord Neville, I believe, oozes charm like a man who's perfected the art of manipulation. He has that aristocratic air, the kind that drips entitlement and boredom, which is a dangerous combination. People like him don't just drink cocktails, they stir up trouble, usually with a splash of betrayal and a twist of deceit. He's the type who sees someone like Alex, a beautiful, headstrong, scandalous runaway with a tragic love story, as a challenge or worse, a toy. Then there's Eloise, the queen bee of backhanded compliments. She smiles with her teeth, but not her eyes. She clutches Alex's arm too tightly and always has one too many opinions on Spencer for someone who's supposedly just being friendly. Women like Eloise don't offer shelter out of the goodness of their hearts. They take you in so they can keep an eye on you. And I have a sneaking suspicion that Eloise's generosity comes with a price tag. But it's not just about the friends themselves. It's the vibe. The parties, the whispers. The way Alex seems both dazzled and distant, like she's wearing a mask. She's trying to stay strong, to stay afloat in a glittering society that doesn't know her pain or her past. And I fear that in doing so, she's losing pieces of herself. Spencer brought out the raw, wild, beautiful parts of her, the unfiltered horseback riding, risk-taking Alex who ran barefoot through the Serengeti and kissed him like the world was ending. These new friends, they want the version of her who wears silk gloves and keeps her voice down. They want her domesticated, diluted, digestible. And maybe that's the scariest part. Not that they're plotting something, though I wouldn't put it past them, but that they might slowly convince Alex that this is who she needs to be now. That Spencer was just a dream, a phase, a fever she recovered from. We've seen this before, haven't we? In stories and real life alike, how easy it is to fall into the rhythm of a new crowd, to confuse acceptance for love and glitter for gold. How seductive comfort can be, especially after heartbreak. And these friends of hers, they're nothing if not comfortable, safe, predictable, shallow as a silver spoon. But Alex was never meant for shallow. She was fire and thunder, chasing danger in white linen and grinning at the storm. That's who Spencer fell in love with. That's who we fell in love with. So yes, I'm worried. Worried she's being watched, manipulated, used. Worried that Lord Neville is whispering ideas into her ear, gently nudging her toward a life of convenience and obligation. Worried that Eloise is twisting every letter from Spencer before it reaches Alex, or worse, intercepting them entirely. Because it would be just like this show to turn a reunion into a tragic near miss, all because of a scheming socialite in a feathered hat. I'm worried that Alex's fire might be dimmed before Spencer can find her again, that she'll become a version of herself that no longer recognizes his voice or believes in the promise they made under African stars. And most of all, I'm worried about what she'll do if she does realize the truth, if she wakes up one day and sees through the charade, only to find herself surrounded by people who never really cared for her, only the performance she could give. This is 1923 after all. No one gets out unscathed, and every alliance comes with a cost. So while I hold out hope that Spencer will punch his way across continents if he has to, and hope that Alex's heart stays true, I can't help but eye her new companions with suspicion. They might smile and raise glasses, but I see the shadows in their eyes, and something tells me we're only a few episodes away from those shadows turning into storms. Because in the world of 1923, trust is a luxury, and Alex Dutton's new friends, they're the kind of luxury you can't afford.